Hey guys, it's Brooke and Clint from Bluffside Birdie. Today we're going to show you how we have been dyeing some discs. This is something that we started over quarantine. Frankly, we got a little bit bored and decided to do something a little crafty. So we picked up the shaving cream method to dye some of our old discs we have, and then we've also done some of our newer ones as well.
Here's a couple of the ones that we've done already. Here's one that I did, and I think Brooke, you did this one. But it's a real simple method. It's pretty cheap. There's only a couple of things that you need, and it only takes a couple hours to let it sit there, but the process itself takes maybe 5 minutes. A little bit at the beginning, a little bit at the end, but you just sit there for a little bit in between.
And you don't have to be crafty. Like, you just sprinkle stuff down and it looks cool. So that's how we kind of liked it, because we're not super crafty people, but it still looks pretty cool. You get a good result. So we're going to show you all of the supplies we used. Okay, so first you want to look at your disc and decide if you want to keep the stamp or not. So this one we're going to keep the stamp because we like the Bluffside Birdie logo on here. This disc, however, we took the stamp off. Just so that it has a clean slate, kind of like this one here doesn't have a stamp. So to do that, you just have to buy acetone is what we found works best. This is like maybe $10 and you use very, very little of it, so this will last you a very long time. But you just take it on like a paper towel and kind of scrub it on the disc. Make sure you clean the disc up good too prior to doing the dyeing. So we washed ours with soap and water. Then you just need something to put the discs in. So we just had these laying around. They're reusable. You can wash them out, reuse them again. But they're just a nice fit for the discs. They fit pretty perfectly inside there. By the time the shaving cream is up, it fits pretty good. You can also use like your own frying pan or something. It won't dye an actual pan, so you can use something you actually cook with. Second thing you're gonna need is like a little spray bottle. Maybe, there you go. And this is just to get the shaving cream and the dye a little bit wet, and that kind of creates that tie-dye-ish look. So this, again, dollar store. Shaving cream, I think you can get any brand. I bought the cheapest thing at Target. It was 99 cents a can. This can lasts us about 2 discs or 3 discs, I think. So also pretty inexpensive. We just had, you need something to like stir it with or like flatten it, and then you can make your designs with. Some people used like toothpicks that we saw. We just had these like wooden sticks laying around, so that's what we used. And then kind of the main thing you need is dye. And we use the iDye Poly. Clint has done this in the past, quite a few years ago, and used a couple different ones and found that this one worked the best on the discs. So this is what we used. You want to get the one that's like a powder. So you can see we already used some, so we put it in a baggie to save it. But this is like just the powder. You use also very little, so this will last you a really long time. But it comes in a variety of colors. We have purple, we got green, we have black, red, and then also blue. Now, one thing you'll notice is that the powder looks pretty much the same in every one. So you want to make sure you either like label once you take it out of the baggie, or we just kept it in their little pockets because it's hard to tell the dye when it's not wet. So those are the supplies we used. And now we're gonna go into the dyeing process and how we did that.
All right, step one, we got our shaving cream here. Shake her up, and we're just gonna maybe shake it a little bit more. Get it all filling her up.
You want to use quite a bit because you want it to be as even as possible to make sure it covers the whole disc.
I'll get Brooks over here.
That shaving cream smell.
Yeah. Alright, and then when we get it in here, we gotta smooth it all out. kind of mix it around. That should be pretty good.
So you can use like a multitude of different things for this. We just chose these wooden sticks because we had them.
Like kind of mix it a little bit. You can add a little bit of water at this point too if you want. It'll kind of make it more runny and it'll kind of just work a little bit better, but it's not necessary. We started adding water at the end when we put the dye on, and it just kind of like got accepted by the disc a little bit better. So just kind of mix it around, mix it around. Eventually we'll be flattening it. This pan is like so big that you don't need the whole space. So if you want to just do like the disc size. Alright, how's yours doing?
Good, I just gotta try to flatten her.
Yeah, if you have like little bubbles, it might not press fully against the disc, so you might get like spots in it that aren't dyed. We didn't really have too many issues with it.
I think too, like it's that we did more of like a tie-dye effect, so it's not like a perfect dye job, so you don't really notice it a whole lot either.
Yeah, we're not trying to do like intricate designs on it or anything, so.
I feel like mine's pretty good. Do you need help?
Nah.
Okay.
Good.
Okay, so we're gonna...
Just gonna throw it right there.
Okay.
Okay, top. No.
Okay.
Alright, so then we put our dye on. What color are you going with?
Well, I'm gonna do this yellow disc here, so...
I'm gonna do red and blue on mine, because this one actually is a disc for my bag, so...
Always red and blue.
Yep, gotta keep the red and blue theme kind of going.
And I think I'm gonna do...
So you use a little stick, right?
Yeah.
So we don't want to like touch the dye ourselves, so we use these second stick.
Yeah. Again, you could just like
like
sprinkle it.
Pick it up a little.
You need very little of this.
Yeah.
So like whatever you need, like cut that in half, because you really don't need a lot. It spreads really easily, and so you kind of got to picture
So
where
like
you're gonna
this is
put.
like a ton of it. So
Yeah.
if that would all go in one spot, that would just be a big blob of red.
Yeah.
So try to like kind of spread it, sprinkle out a little.
And then you kind of want to see like where you're gonna put your disc. I think I'm gonna
It's like
do a
this
little
spot right
purple.
here is gonna be super red on mine, but there's probably a better way to do this, but
Yeah, we just kind of used what we had.
alright.
Okay, so I used some purple.
Notice how she does it so nice and softly, and mine's just piles of it. Mine's gonna be pretty.
You kind of did do a pile of it, didn't you?
Do you want the blue or?
Yeah.
That's
Is
what I
that
got
this?
right here.
Oh, okay. Actually, I'll do the green first. I don't really know how this is going to turn out on a yellow disc. So, I guess we'll see. You can kind of like mix them too, like with over each other. When I looked on JoannFabrics.com, they had like hundreds of colors of these. Probably not hundreds, but they had a lot of colors.
Yeah, so after we get our dye on here, I like to spray it with the bottle.
Oh, one of these does not smell good.
I'm sure they all probably don't smell that
I
great.
feel like the purple one smelled pretty good.
I don't think there's scented dyes, but
You are just dumping piles over there.
yeah, I've got a few piles coming, so alright.
Is this the blue side you used?
Yeah.
Okay.
Alright, so mine's all good. So I'm gonna whoop. Why did that work?
Did you just get mine? Put it down.
that's what came out like a jet. All right, so mine's in there. This is not gonna go well, but we're gonna try to get it centered if possible. And you can kind of work it around, create different like swirlish patterns in it if you want it to kind of blend. This one's kind of nice because you can see it. This area is gonna be just clear, which is fine. I kind of like the clearness of the disc. But you can see exactly what it's kind of gonna look like. You see these bubbles right in here, that might stay white. But we're gonna use, what are we gonna use to hold it down? You can do yours.
Okay. So you can also, we saw like people did like designs within theirs before they lay the disc down. So Clint kind of like laid his and then spread it, like turned it. That is not gonna be heavy enough. Just use
I'll find something else.
Okay. So I want to do kind of like a line design through mine. So I'm just gonna do lines. Could you hand me a paper towel?
Yeah.
Since you got one. Okay. But they said to like clean off your thing every time if you're gonna do that, so that you don't like drag the more shaving cream through it. So I don't know. I don't really know how this is gonna look, but kind of thinking like a checkered, maybe. Are you hungry or?
No. This is too heavy.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's kind of my design, I'm thinking. I think I want the bird on my disc to be blue. So I'm going to set it like here. Maybe. So when you set it, you also want to like press pretty hard. Which you'll see kind of the dye coming out. But you mainly, you know, like if you want it up the sides of your disc, you want to make sure the sides of your disc are like good and covered. On these pans, they're like perfect fit for the disc, so I kind of want to make sure both my sides are pressed down. So you press until you want to or don't want to. I have no idea how this is going to turn out. It will be kind of interesting. And then like Clint did, just find something to weight it down because you're going to want this to sit for a couple hours. Sure. We've done the disc that we showed you in the beginning. We did for 3 hours.
Yeah. I think we did this one overnight, so it stayed for, 10 plus.
Yeah. This
one was only on for 2 to 3 hours, and it's still like pretty good color. You can see right here, there's where like one of those bubbles were. So if you get more particular with how you're doing it, you won't get those little things, but I think it still looks pretty cool. So
I mean, I guess you can kind of just estimate the time. I mean, you can kind of play with it how you want to. I think tonight we'll just do a couple hours.
Yeah, the longer it stays on, the darker it'll be. So if you want it really dark, maybe leave it overnight. But we don't necessarily want it super dark, so a couple hours is perfectly fine for ours. And
also, like just for the stamp purpose, like this stamp didn't get dye on it. It actually showed through pretty well. I don't know if that's true for every stamp, I guess.
Yeah, haven't tried.
We don't know.
That's the only one we've done that has a stamp still on it. Yeah. So that one will be a good test.
So it will, that was a silver stamp too, so I don't know if the silver will dye, but I guess we'll see. So then this process, this took us, way longer than it needed to, but maybe 5 to 10 minutes, depending on how intricate you want to get in your design, and then you just let it sit. So you kind of can do it and then come back to it, and then we'll come back after a couple hours here and see what they look like.
All right, guys, we've let them sit for a couple hours now, so we're gonna take them out and rinse them off. Just go right to the sink. Rinse it off. Ooh, that looks pretty good. Yeah, it's not super dark. We didn't leave it on for like a long time. Only a couple hours. We could have left it overnight and got it a little bit darker, but yeah, I think this one turned out pretty good. It's still pretty see-through, but it's still got some color to it. And then the Bluffside disc. Get that one all rinsed off.
Make sure you're careful when rinsing them. Our sink won't let you dye, you know, if we get it wet right away, but if you have like a white sink, I don't know, like if it would dye it or anything like that.
Yeah, just kind of get all the dye out of it. So let's dry this one off.
That looks good, cool.
Yeah. Yeah, this one looks pretty sweet too. A little lighter on the colors. Yeah, because we only left them in for a couple hours, but yeah, I still think it looks pretty good. What do you think?
Yeah, I like it. So it did not, you know, we said before we didn't know if it would stick to the stamp or not because we hadn't done many of those, but it didn't, and the stamp actually looks really good on it. It's really shiny and sparkly still, so.
Yeah, turned out good.
Happy with it. So thanks guys for watching this video. This is something we started over quarantine and wanted to share with you guys. So I think our disc turned out pretty decent. We're actually going to do a giveaway with this Opto Pioneer. This is one of our Bluffside Birdie discs that we carry. I think it's actually maybe our last Pioneer. It's been a pretty popular disc.
One in our stock.
So we'll do a giveaway with this. To enter, just comment on our YouTube video on the YouTube channel, and by July 1st, on July 1st we'll pick a winner, and we'll send this out to you. So if you also could help us out by subscribing to our YouTube channel, like us on Facebook and Instagram, you can share our video, that'd be great. And yeah, I think that's about it for today. So thanks for watching guys, we'll see you next time.
Yep, see ya.